The Banquet is the 5th episode of the 1st season of Parks and Rec. This is directed by Beth McCarthy-Miller, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I talk about the episode and share some thoughts. And I don't mind this one. I feel like so far Parks and Rec has had a pretty much 50-50 split. That doesn't quite work mathematically, but I feel like some of the episodes I've kind of enjoyed, some of the episodes I thought have been really boring. I am definitely trying to get to at least 2 episodes of season 2, because apparently it does get better. And The Banquet is one where I kind of feel like I didn't love it, but at the same time, it was okay. It was not so bad. Leslie's mother is being awarded at this banquet, and Leslie is trying to write a speech. She also wants to mention the park in the speech, and then she decides to go and get her hair cut. And I have to say, I was very enthusiastic about this haircut. I was really keen to see what the final outcome would be, and it doesn't take us too long to find out. And I have to say, visually, it looked pretty interesting. And Anne's dress was gorgeous. I love the colour of Anne's dress. We do actually get to the banquet pretty quickly as well, which I was pleased about. I was expecting more of a slow pace, but actually we got there quite early, and I think that was a really good decision. There's somebody there Leslie wants to talk to. This is a character called Janine Restrepo, and she is played by Loretta Fox. And Leslie's speech was actually not too bad, apart from the mentions of Janine Restrepo, because it sounded so out of place. But the rest of the speech was not too bad at all. We also heard little bits and pieces of other people's speeches for Leslie's mother, which I thought was pretty well done. I think the editing of the banquet, the pacing of the banquet, all of that was absolutely fantastic, which I think is one of the reasons why I kind of enjoyed this, because it never felt slow. It never felt I was waiting for something else to happen, because it does actually jump forward at a really good rate, and we do have quite a lot of action in a short space of time. Leslie does end up talking to Janine Restrepo, who says that she can call her secretary, they'll set something up. Leslie's really happy about this. And then she talks to her mother, and she establishes that Janine Restrepo is probably just blowing her off, telling her, call my secretary, and then she'll just ignore her from there, which seems like a fair assumption. And then Leslie finds out some dirt on Janine Restrepo, that her husband has a DUI, and she's decided that she's going to use this to convince Janine Restrepo, I don't know why I have to say her full name every time, to set up a meeting earlier rather than going through the secretary. And Leslie very briefly discusses this with Anne. Anne points out that that's blackmail and she probably shouldn't go ahead with it. And Leslie kind of goes ahead with it, but it definitely doesn't go according to plan, and she ends up getting water thrown in her face, which I hadn't expected, and I think that was the best possible outcome, because it wasn't the right decision. It wasn't something Leslie should have been doing, using that information to her advantage, and I think it was the right outcome. It was dramatic enough without being completely over the top, but I think it also gave us the right message as well. And that's pretty much where we end things. There are a couple of scenes afterwards with Leslie and Anne, and then Leslie talking to the camera. It's not a bad episode. I didn't ever feel bored. And there are times in previous episodes, even episodes that I've quite liked, where I have felt bored during some scenes, but that was never really the case here, and I was very curious to find out what would happen from one scene to the next. So actually, I don't think I have anything but praise for it. That's not to say I completely love it. I'm now not sitting here saying I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan, but I thought The Banquet was pretty good. I'm keen to see what the final episode of this season is like. And as I said, I will definitely watch, I think, at least 2 episodes from season 2. At this stage, I honestly have no idea if I'm going to stick with it or not, but time will tell. And for now, I am genuinely very happy with The Banquet.